Hey everyone, it's Lilian here, and today I'm going to do a video about 5 ways to bring passion back into your relationship. If you're new to this channel, welcome. So previously I did some videos about reasons why people fall out of love and if it's natural to fall out of love. So if you haven't watched those yet, I recommend that you watch them because it sort of sets some fundamental information that you should have before going into this video. It's no secret that a lot of long-term relationships suffer under the loss of passion, and a lot of people find themselves longing for that passion again that they typically had towards the beginning of the relationship. Now, people don't really talk about this that much, but it is natural for passion to slowly fade over the course of relationships. But there are ways to bring it back. And it's not easy ways. For example, if you do a search on Google, you're likely going to get a lot of advice like get some sexy underwear or hold hands more often or cuddle or something like that. And while those aren't fundamentally wrong, they're just merely scratching the surface, and we want to dig a little deeper and understand why passion fades, and as a result of that we can understand better how to bring it back. Passion usually means very intense feelings of desire that lead to physical attraction, romance, sex. It can have like an obsessive component. It can involve infatuation. Passion thrives on novelty and mystery and surprise, and you usually have that when you're just getting to know someone. As you're getting more familiar with the person, it slowly fades. Here is my advice of what you can do as much as possible to get it back. So the number one most important thing that everyone needs to do is you need to do an emotional check on your relationship, yourself, and your partner. If either of you are affected by depression or anxiety, that can of course have a big impact on your relationship as well, because it's hard to feel passionate about someone when you're having trouble just getting out of bed in the morning, right? Another big culprit here is trust issues or any sort of resentment. So if there's something that happened in the relationship that hasn't fully been resolved, or you still haven't gotten over a fight or something that your partner did, then that also needs to be addressed first. But that doesn't mean that you can't continue with the other tips that I'm going to be talking about. The second one that a lot of people are struggling with is maintaining a sense of autonomy. So people in long-term relationships often live together and share so much of their life together that they become emotionally fused. A lot of times we have the same circle of friends and we kind of engage in the same things together, and that's amazing and that's wonderful and that's what a lot of people strive for. But it can get to a point where it's just too much, where it's affecting your passion levels and your relationship. Why is that? Because again, passion likes mystery, and if you don't have enough differentiation and autonomy here, you kind of merge almost into the same person. If you are living completely separate lives, you're not feeling connected, which is the first big issue. But if you have the opposite of that, that you're too close and too fused, it's hard to have desire in there. What can you do about it? Don't do everything together. Maintain hobbies and things that you do by yourself. Maintain a circle of friends that is just your own, or make sure that you go and meet up with friends just by yourself, that it's not always you as a two-pack. You can obviously have those couple times as well, and they're just as important. But it really is important to remain also the person that you were as you entered the relationship to some extent. Don't completely lose yourself in your partner and the relationship, because as amazing and magical as it seems at first, it can come and bite you in the ass afterwards. So the third point, and this one is super important, is keep trying to impress each other. So at the beginning of a relationship, we're constantly on our A game. We show our best parts. We're always like dressing up and being super nice and just, yeah, the best version of ourselves. Then with time, we start showing our true colors. Once you see that your partner accepts those as well and is familiar with those parts now too, and they're still here, it's easy to get lazy. Sometimes we then fall into patterns. We're not really making an effort anymore. Sometimes it even goes to the extent where we're not treating them with that much respect anymore, because you know they're here, you know they're gonna stay with you. You had a bad day, you can bitch at them and they're still gonna be there, but is it good for the relationship? No. It makes it so much easier to feel passionate about someone that you admire. And passion levels tend to spike when you see your partner, for example, doing something that they're really good at, because then you admire them in that moment, right? You're thinking like, whoa, this person is amazing. Funny one is also that passion is higher when you see other people admiring your partner, sort of complimenting them, saying, hey, they're really great. Then you kind of think like, oh yeah, they are really great. Still make an effort, right? Every now and then, try looking your best again for them. Do something to impress them. Treat them well. Just be the person that you yourself would desire, because then your partner is gonna desire you as well. You know, it's hard to be passionate about someone who's just rude and complaining the whole time and doesn't really show the same qualities that they fell in love with. Number 4, avoid routine. So this one's a bit tricky because routine is often such a big part of long-term relationships, especially if you're living together. You know, we often have a routine for a lot of things, even sometimes without thinking about it. Just the way that we wake up in the morning, or how we go to bed, or how we initiate sex, or just what we do with our free time together. There's a lot of routine in there, and that can be super comforting and nice, and a lot of people want exactly that. On the other hand, when we talk about passion again, of course, predictability, as we already talked about, kills passion, and a routine is exactly that. It implies that you're doing the same thing, so it's predictable. You know what's gonna happen. So I'm not saying that you need to scratch every routine you have and have every day be completely different, but just make an effort and make a point out of breaking that routine sometimes. You know, again, it can get easy to just get comfortable and lazy. You're like, okay, we know how this is gonna go, let's just do that. But once again, don't get lazy and think of ways to switch it up. You know, maybe do a spontaneous date night, or pick up a new hobby together, or I don't know, just it can be even really little things that you're gonna do to switch it up. And trust me, any change in that routine is gonna be good for passion. So the last point is just to spend quality time together. A lot of times in long-term relationships, it's so easy to just get used to being around each other without having that quality time where you really connect as a couple. So at the beginning of a relationship, when passion is naturally there, that passion compels us to, you know, be super focused on our partner, because we are pretty much obsessed with them. And we want to know everything about them. We want to have sex all the time. So that behavior naturally comes. This time it's a bit reverse. Instead of having the passion leading you to engaging in that quality time, you need to engage in that quality time to bring the passion back. Get off the technology, close your laptops, put away your phones, really take some time to connect and talk, or maybe even not talk, and just, you know, be close to each other and enjoy those moments together. And also make a point out of having time together where you don't talk about responsibilities and to-do lists, arguments, or I don't know, just things like that. Just leave that out of the door and just take time to focus on each other. Do something nice, cuddle, have sex, and honestly, those things are gonna bring the passion back by itself. The thing is also that having sex releases a lot of hormones and neurotransmitters that give us that bonding feeling and that make us feel really connected to someone. So if you're not having sex, you're not gonna feel that as much as when you did have a lot of sex. So sometimes having sex, even if you're not prioritizing it or thinking about it or feeling horny, sometimes, you know, even just doing it is gonna give you back those feelings. Just take some time to be in the moment with each other, be close, have fun, and love each other. Alright, so these were my 5 tips of how you can get passion back in your relationship. So I hope that you found this helpful and insightful, and if you did, please give this video a like. Next up, I'm planning on doing a video talking about what happens to us when we're falling in love with someone and what happens to the brain in love, because it's actually super interesting and a lot of people don't really know about it. A lot of us are so obsessed with falling in love, but then they don't really know what it means, right? So if you want to hear more about that, please subscribe and stay tuned for the next videos. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you at the next one. Cheers!